It's just a little over a month before the U.S. state of New Mexico holds Republican and Democratic presidential primaries. New Mexico has the highest percentage of Latinos of all the U.S. states, and both parties are heavily courting this voter demographic ahead of November's election. William Denslow reports.
Millions of dollars are being pumped into this election campaign. Lee County in southeast New Mexico is around 60% Hispanic. Turning out the vote in areas like this could be a political goldmine.
Lee County, we have 7,000 persons that are eligible to become citizens. So when it's time to election, we just come to the streets and knock doors to find those people so they can come citizens, so they can vote.
And those votes could have a huge bearing on the presidential race. Roughly 1.4 million Latinos become eligible to vote each year and will make up roughly 15% of all eligible voters come November. That's compared to about 7.4% back in 2000.
Because of the Electoral College, it's not just the fact that Hispanics are a growing population, but that they're comprised in a lot of really key battleground states that are essentially going to be huge in deciding who wins this next election.
Nowhere in the US will this play out more prominently than in New Mexico. Over half of the population is Hispanic, and the state has elected 3 Hispanic governors in a row. Ernie Cederbacher is the president and CEO of the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. He says politicians are starting to recognize the power of this demographic.
I believe in the last 5 to 6 years, I think they're realizing that there is an opportunity to have the Latino vote, that they should do everything they can to make sure they get registered. And they're doing that. Both parties are doing that.
In 2020, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in New Mexico by 10 points. Some Republicans in the state say they need to improve their messaging.
We're splintered in so many different factions, whether it's healthcare, whether it's abortion, women's rights, things like that. I mean, we do need to coalesce and we need a message. We can't just put a cloak over this and say it's not our problem or we're going to deal with it later, because right now our messaging is getting lost.
Nationally, immigration will be a key issue for voters in the run-up to the election. Polling suggests Latinos tend to oppose some of Donald Trump's hardline views, like building a wall on the southern border. Data also suggests the majority of Latino voters side with Democrats when it comes to the issue of reproductive rights. But the economy could be a major pull for Republicans come Election Day. The motivation of voters can vary greatly, but some surveys suggest Trump's pledges of greater prosperity are gaining traction. Back in 2020, Joe Biden was roughly twice as popular as Donald Trump among Latino voters. But according to a recent USA Today Suffolk University poll, Trump now has a 5-point lead amongst that demographic should there be an election rematch come November. Promising sign for the Republican Party. Rochelle Williams is working to blunt Republican hopes in New Mexico. She founded Blue CD2 in 2021 with the goal of flipping the district to Democrat in the 2022 midterms, which they did, narrowly. Experts say strong Latino support for Democrats helped prevent a so-called red wave of Republican House and Senate race wins across the country.
So this will tell us, under the bipartisan infrastructure law, what money has come into this county to fund airports.
Now Williams hopes to keep up that momentum. Her online tools aim to show voters how the party is helping people in her district.
We have work to do, and that's what we're doing, is to change the narrative here, to say what is, to support these policies of economic and social justice that are coming out of a Democratic administration.
Latino voters are a growing, diverse and increasingly prominent demographic in US politics, with the power to potentially swing this election for either candidate. William Denslow, CNA, New Mexico.